Hello, and welcome back to YouTube Creator News, back for another week covering news-related items concerning YouTube and all for YouTube creators. So hopefully that is you and you're here. Whether you're watching live or on the replay, welcome to the show. And first thing we'd like to do is jump in and give a few shout-outs to people who are rocking up early or coming in right as the show starts, because, you know, it's the live audience that we're here for, primarily first of all, and then later, replay crew, it's your turn. So hope you all had a great week this week. I had a busy day today. I've been out all day, so scrambling to put the show together in the last couple of hours. I usually have a little bit more time on a Saturday to get everything together. Creating all the stuff that you see on screen takes some time. So we're going to jump right in and let's see who's here. Let's make sure everything's working first of all. There we go. Everything's working there. Lovely, lovely. And let's get the background music in there from Creator Mix, of course. Little logo at the top there to say, hey, Creator Mix. Good background music. All right. Let's click on a few names here in the list. Yeah, I had a few technical difficulties when I first fired up Ecamm. The browser overlays weren't working, and I thought it was like a beta bug. But as soon as I restarted, it was all good. We have Monique, of course, always coming in nice and early and dropping a comment early on after the stream is scheduled. So I always appreciate that. Chantel Hills is in early as well, with dropping the first. Wasn't quite first, but it depends on which stream you're commenting on at the time, because we are, again, going live. You might be seeing me in horizontal, the regular stream, or you might even be looking at me like vertically right now over in the shorts feed live, and people are probably catching that on the replay as well in the vertical stream playlist. Just thought I'd put that out there. Also, Kevin Hawthorne is here as always. Let's highlight that there. Chantel's got a fresh cup of tea. Oh, you're on call as a mum taxi. Hey, I know what that's like, being on call for the taxi duties. No problem. Live Stream Consultants is here as well. Welcome. Aaron Lucky's here. Hello, hello. And that's it so far. I think I've got everyone. Have I missed anybody so far? People will be still rolling in because we're fresh into the show. Today, Chantel's already dropping the hydrate. You know I need it. Today, I didn't really want to deem one topic, but in the sort of the title of the show, I'm sort of talking about is YouTube the new talk show? Someone's found the mystery gift for today, nice and early. And a bunch of other things. We're going to be talking about YouTube being down during the week, like totally gone, like no content being shown to anybody for a period of time. Of course, we're talking about this week's insider updates, of course, as we always do. We've got some navigation things. We've got ad blocking to talk about. We've got ads in general to talk about, and we've got a couple more sort of mini reports and by the ways in our new segment that we started last week called Shortcuts. So we're going to jump in a second and start working through them. Of course, we always like to start with Creator Insider. So yeah, so how's everybody? Just diving into the chat again. How's your week? Let me know. Let's drop an emoji for that today. So if the week was mostly good, let's go thumbs up in emoji in the chat. Maybe if it sort of sucked a little bit, let's go with the thumbs down emoji. And we'll hope that this next coming week is more of this and less of this. Let me see what's going on in the chat before we proceed. I guess I only work in the vertical, not the horizontal. Okay. Yeah, I fixed it. I looked across, see what was on. I was but when I was having issues with browser sources early in Ecamm, I was toggling them on and off. and that one happened to be toggled off. So yes, the gifts should work if you drop them in either chat now, and there they are. Yeah, they're working in both. Beautiful. Solving the issues of the world. And Chantal is back from her lovely break, as denoted by the emojis there. Sunny, sunglasses, looking cool, laying in the shade under the umbrella on the beach. There we go. I hope it was good. Hope it was great. I had a crazy busy week at my day job, so I'm going to leave it at that. We got a thumbs up there. We got a thumbs up from Aaron. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, self-explanatory. Fair enough. All right, let's jump into the news stories today. I don't have too much more banter to happen, but let's get right into it. And I usually like to play a little.
Stay tuned for Creator News.
Oh yeah, I forgot that I had that audio tied into the page change. Okay, I had played. I evidently had a sound bed. Yes, I have a sound bed as well. I forgot about that. I only introduced that last week. There we go. Yeah, I might have to remember to change that for next week. All right, Creator Insider. This week at YouTube, we got 3 items to talk about. They're going to be gifts and jewels rolling out in Canada. So yay if you're in Canada, big positive. If you vertical live stream, that's a new source of monetization for you. We'll talk more about that in a second. An update to the Shorts grid view in the YouTube Studio app on mobile, and there's some in-app editing improvements for Shorts coming your way in the main YouTube app, and we're going to talk about that as well. Let's talk about Canada getting gifts and jewels. YouTube is launching gifts and jewels for creators in Canada. Gifts and jewels, in case people don't know, are interactive items that viewers can send to express appreciation. So it's sort of like an advanced sort of super chat, but it's more gamified, bit like bits on Twitch and different things that they have on TikTok. I have no clue what they're called on TikTok. And don't forget, the currency system that YouTube uses are called jewels. Jewels are the digital items that viewers purchase to send gifts. And when they drop those gifts on a particular stream, a streamer's vertical stream, the creators will earn themselves some rubies, which are converted into, of course, cash in your AdSense payout every month. There'll be a portion of that which will be your rubies payout. So this feature is designed to open new monetization streams and provide more ways for creators and fans to interact in real time. Now, I don't know what the exact time frame for it to roll in Canada, but I'm assuming that's going live as of their announcement, if not having done so already. So if you're in Canada and you vertical live stream, drop it in the chat or drop it in the comments if you're on the replay. Let me know if you're starting to see the gifts in the vertical live stream systems. People can drop them, viewers can buy them, the whole kit and caboodle. Let me know. So if you're in Canada, that's a win. That's a win this week. Okay, the second one we're going to talk about real quick is we're going to jump to the third item on that other list, and that is the in-app shorts editing tools. And some of these are Android specific, and some of these are in iOS as well. We'll touch on that a little bit in a second as we look. In-app shorts, contextual editing. You can now edit individual video clips while viewing them in context with other elements. So basically, it's more like a real video editor in the shorts tool now. So you can basically have all the different elements that might be overlapping. You can move the text overlays around. You can trim audio and video in terms of where all the other parts are. Whereas before you had to sort of like just stick them together, sort of side by side, and then some of the overlays would just play for the whole short, and you couldn't sort of adjust that. The voiceover you had to go in and tweak separately and different things like that. But now they're making it more like a proper video editor, so that you can sort of line things up, and then you don't even technically need the YouTube Create app to do that. You can do that in the Shorts tool in the main app automatically. Another thing you do is timing adjustments. The editor includes zooming and snapping functions to allow for precise adjustments to the timing of each clip. Historically, the Shorts tool has been a little bit clunky, sort of fine-tuning like the in and out points. So that's good if that's getting improved. I love that. Rough cut management. Creators can now rearrange or delete clips directly within the app to build a rough cut of their short. Because before, you had to drop everything in one at a time in order, and once it's there, you didn't have like a timeline you could move them around. They were just added in order, and that's what you were stuck with. You could trim them individually, but you couldn't overlap them. You couldn't say, oh, I actually want this one before this one and move it. You sort of had to, you have to go back and back it out and start again. Being able to sort of put it all together, more like a regular video app, awesome. And also layering elements. The tool supports adding music, time text, and sticker overlays with a preview function to see the final result. So yeah, this is becoming like a miniature version of the YouTube Create app, basically. Okay, right now the Android-only specific features will be split segments, where Android users can easily split videos into different segments. That's like trimming down the middle. So you drop in a clip and you want to trim that down the middle to separate it, or trim that a section out of the middle. You can't currently do that on iOS, but that is now evidently available in Android. Slip editing. Creators in Android can use Slip Edit to adjust clips based on a fixed time duration for better control. So yes, going from being a clunky sort of basic assembly to a more rounded featured editor. While split and slip editing are currently Android only, the team plans to bring these features to iOS in the future. So that's a good thing. And we've seen that sort of that editing aspect of Shorts, whether you're using the Create app or whatever, seems to come to Android before iOS in most cases. That's just one of the things. But then some of the Gen AI stuff sometimes comes to the iOS before it comes to Android. So, it swings and roundabouts. In the end, everybody will get all the features, just as they build out those particular apps for those particular platforms. So being able to have more control over how you put your shorts together, awesome. And back to the last one, which was, I think, the second one on the list, Studio Mobile and navigation. On Studio Mobile and content page, shorts are now shown and displayed in a grid format. This change aligns Studio layout with the grid style used in the main YouTube app. Some might argue that they don't want that, so we'll see. Creators who prefer the previous layout have the option to switch it back to the list format. Now, I haven't checked this out yet, so I am going to open the YouTube Studio app and have a look and see if I've got it. If I've got it, I'll pull it up on the screen. Load, and I guess I got to select view all shorts. Oh no, I don't have it yet. So it hasn't rolled out to me yet. Unless there's what do they call the unless I've got that toggle to switch it back to list format, and it just happens to be in list format. Is that under visibility? No. Sort by, no. No, hasn't rolled out to me yet. I don't have it, so I can't demo that one. But it looks like, two shorts in rows of two. So it's 2 by whatever down the page, rather than the list view, which currently looks like this, basically. Let's show you. That's the current list view. That's what it looks like now in the content section of the Studio app. Now I'm in shorts, they're showing up my shorts, but soon it's going to look like, probably on the page there, you'll see 2 next to each other at the top, and then underneath there'll be 2 more, and then you'd have to scroll to get to the rest. But right now I've got the classic view. So yeah, that's a thing. That is a thing. All right, now I'm going to find my way back to where I was. No, it wasn't that one. It was that one. There we are. All right. Big shout out. Eileen Smith in the house. Welcome. Nice and quiet in the chat today. As I am presenting the news, that tends to happen of late. All right, let's move on to some of the other non-Creator Insider stories for the week. Now, who was around on YouTube sometime middle of the week and YouTube was down? And I got this message in my Discord sort of after they realized YouTube was down for Team YouTube, because I happen to be in their Discord group. It says, hi everyone, we're aware that some of you are having issues accessing YouTube right now. Our teams are aware and will provide an update as soon as possible. And then on Twitter, saying if you're trouble accessing YouTube right now, you're not alone. Our teams are working now. This is worldwide. It was happening in the US. It was happening here in Australia. We know that where the issue was, YouTube found where the issue was really quickly, and they worked to fix it, and they eventually got it fixed within about an hour or so. But let's see what they had to say. It's interesting what they said the issue was. So while they were in the process of getting it fixed, they dropped this update. An issue with our recommendation system prevented videos from appearing across surfaces on YouTube, including the homepage, the YouTube app, YouTube Music, and YouTube Kids. The homepage is back, but we're still working on a full fix, more coming soon. So basically what they're saying is that YouTube was taken down because the recommendation system, which is sometimes what we call the algorithm, or is one of the algorithms, but this recommendation system is multiples, just like the algorithm is multiples. But the recommendation system that was trying to figure out what content to show to what people fell over, didn't work, and so therefore I don't know what to show people, so I won't show them anything. And so you could load YouTube, but no content was appearing, and that's basically what happened there. So the interesting thing is that it was essentially the recommendation system, and I thought that's amazing. That yeah, you know, these things can happen. So the algorithm is not perfect. The recommendation system isn't perfect. So that's that to keep in mind. So when something goes awry on YouTube, remember it's not a perfect system, and it's not meant to be a perfect system. But most time it works well. Sometimes it dies. Larry's here. Welcome. Larry Home Rapid Repair says, I tried logging in as a guest for my daughter and still no content that day. Yes, it was dead for some time. I was at work, so I was on Twitter, saw it happen. I still had access. I was watching a video and I still had the video watch page open, so it was fine. But then when I went out, people going, oh, it's down, it's down. I said, oh, it's okay here in Australia. As soon as I went out, I went back to the homepage. No dice. It was gone. So interesting. YouTube was down, and it was the algorithm. All right. Let's have a look at this next one. Ad blocker crackdown and experimental hurdles. YouTube, as always, YouTube is a never-ending battle with ad blockers, because ad blockers steal ad revenue because ads don't appear, and therefore they don't earn money, creators don't earn money, because viewers are watching the content with these ad blockers, and sometimes these ad blockers interfere with YouTube systems in a way that it makes the platform not work properly for those viewers who are running those ad blockers. And that's beyond their set purpose of blocking ads. Sometimes it causes other issues. So the most recent update is what I'm getting at. Feature restrictions are happening here. YouTube is testing new ways, and they're constantly testing new ways to deter ad blockers by limiting access to comments and videos descriptions for some users. So the latest thing they're doing is, if they detect you using an ad blocker, they're turning off comments and video descriptions so that your experience is not as good as those who are actually watching YouTube legitimately. So, trying to win by annoying the user who is using ad blockers against terms of service, basically. While it's primarily targeting users, if I can speak, on the web with active ad blockers, some YouTube Premium users have also reported being unable to see comments or descriptions. So a bit of a overflow of accidental sort of application to the wrong users, which isn't good on YouTube's behalf. Reporters indicate that turning off the ad blocker or using browsers with built-in blockers typically restores access to these features. And some people found an interesting workaround by using a VPN to Vietnam, of all places. Some users are using VPNs to tunnel through Vietnam, where a new government order requires all online ads to be skippable after 5 seconds. And this is where we're going to jump directly to the next story, because that's the next story we're talking about. Vietnam's new advertising regulations. Now, there's a lot of information here. The new regulations tighten controls on online advertising are set to take place effective February 15. So that's already gone into effect there. All video advertisements and moving image sequences must be skippable by the viewer within 5 seconds. So they can show an ad, but within 5 seconds, they have to be able to skip that ad. Online platforms are prohibited from forcing users to watch longer non-skippable ads, which previously ranged from 7 to 30 seconds, depending on the device and the service. Viewers can no longer be forced to wait before closing status image advertisements, because some stuff is video, some stuff is like a image slideshow, basically. Advertisements that pop up and obscure the screen must not use fake or misleading close buttons and must be dismissible with a single action. So if you do have a pop-up window from anything in Vietnam, at least you have to have the ability for it to be easily, removed by the user saying, get out of my way, I'm reading this article. Ads must clearly display instructions for the users to report unlawful content or choose to refuse, close, or stop viewing inappropriate ads. Advertising platforms are required to remove unlawful advertisers within 24 hours of a request from competent authorities such as the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism. Failure to comply can result in the technical blocking by authorities of ISPs and telecommunication firms required to block access to illegal ads within 24 hours of an official request. So they're getting in and actually sort of policing skippable ads in Vietnam, of all places. And this is a question posed by Nick Nimmin himself. He says, curious if Vietnam blocking unskippable ads on YouTube and everywhere else will start a trend across the world, just like we saw with maybe some of the other countries looking at Australia and the UK's child safety laws. Maybe people looking at, this is interesting. Do we need to police online ads? I think some governments may look into it, and some might not. And he says this went into effect on the 15th, which we know from the article. So my question to those live in the chat and those watching in the replay, do you think other countries might jump on this bandwagon, seeing Vietnam's now pulled the trigger on skippable ads no longer than 5 seconds? And do you think that's a good idea, or do you think it's a bad idea? So, it's like maybe they shouldn't mess with people's ads, or maybe, we need more of government sticking up for the consumer who's consuming the content. Let me know. All right, I'm going to jump in the chat real quick. Everyone's saying good morning. Check if they're made in USA or made in Australia. They use different. Okay, that's a side conversation I just jumped on. I thought there was a question coming through. G'day to Shark Scrappers in the house. Hello. If the online content is free, there's going to be ads somewhere somehow. Yeah, there is. So ad revenue from Vietnam's going to probably, I think, because it means you can't have non-skippable ads. All ads have to be skippable. and you can't hold them there for longer than 5 seconds. After 5 seconds, a skip button must appear so that the viewer can continue on. The viewer can choose to keep watching the ad if they want to, but they are required to provide the method of skipping to the next ad, or skipping to the content, I suppose, depending what platform you're talking about. But YouTube, generally, you click skip, you end up on the content most of the time. Pay a tip to have the ad removed. Is it? Some might argue that's what YouTube Premium is. If something is free, it's either your data, your time, or your time that are the product. Yeah, that's right. That's right. You know, you can watch YouTube for free, but it's ad supported. That's how YouTube makes their money. That's how creators get a cut of the action. It's the ads. So interesting. We shall mosey on. Okay. Our friend Peggy dropped this one from a recent podcast. It's a Design Better podcast, and it featured the guests were Nate Coachley and Matthew Darby. They both work for YouTube. One's the director of product management, and one is the director of UX. UX means user experience. And a couple of highlights from the podcast, which I thought were interesting. How YouTube's thinking about how the UX is put together. That's user experience, and how that works in terms of, providing a product to the viewers that is pleasing and keeps them watching. Some highlighted areas include a natural language tuning. YouTube's design and product leads are exploring the possibility of allowing viewers to use natural language to tune their feeds. That speaks to me that you would be able to go in and maybe speak to the YouTube algorithm and say, hey, I'm in the mood for more of this type of content. Show me more of this, or show me less of that. I'm actually want to see more Winter Olympics or something like that. So I'm sure natural language is where you can just go in and speak to it, or maybe type in a prompt and say, hey, show me more of this or show me less of that. The platform's research has evolved from measuring simple clicks back in the day, back when YouTube started, that's what they measured, to understanding satisfied watch time and user perception. So yeah, we know that satisfaction's a big thing, and I saw Andrew Can on I think it was Twitter. It might be Twitter, it might be Threads, one of the two, having a bit of a back and forth with Renee Ritchie, asking a little bit about what does YouTube deem as satisfaction, and it's something that we know what CTR is, we know what average view duration is. It's measurable. We see the statistics in our back end, but how does YouTube actually measure satisfaction, and how can we understand it so that as a creator we can better make satisfying content? So that's an interesting discussion. Predictive measurement. New predictive tools are being designed to gauge how modern and user-friendly visual and functional updates feel to the global audience. So they're not just sort of guessing when they make it like a UI change. They're not sort of guessing, oh, I think this looks pretty cool. They're not going with, hey, I think this looks pretty cool. They're going with, is it going to be good for the user? Is the user going to enjoy it? Is it going to be intuitive? All the factors. And so they've obviously got tools in place, assumedly AI-based tools that they can test things with. And we also know that they do A/B testing of, different UI features that some people will see, like a different layout for a watch page than somebody else for a while if they're running some experiments on random channels. So you might see that as well. Leadership noted that what users say they want often differs from what actually makes them happy on the platform. So it's like the silent majority sometimes get drowned out by the vocal minority who are saying, I don't like this and I don't like that, and this change is silly, and what did you do that for, YouTube? And those sorts of things. But what they're saying is, in their testing and the evidence that they see suggests that there's a silent majority who actually are getting more functionality and having generally more satisfaction with the platform. And sometimes they make mistakes and have to roll stuff back, but in the most part, they thoroughly test this stuff before it gets to like roll out to everywhere, to everybody. Sometimes they get it right, sometimes they do get things wrong. One recent UI change that is very debatable is the change which is rather small, the change of moderators from wrenches to shields or blobs, as Chantel would say. And that can come down. And to be honest, that's personal preference for us, really. That's what we're used to, and it could be part of it. The blob doesn't look as good, doesn't look as fancy. It might need more. Definition. Maybe look a lot more like a shield. Who knows? That's just one example where maybe if we're complaining about it, maybe we're the minority. Maybe most people don't care either way. But who knows? Interesting. I haven't listened to the podcast, but I was just looking at the highlights of some notes. There's a very thorough. They have a very thorough blog post on what platform they use. I think they're using. I'm trying to figure out what platform they're using. It's one of the blog platforms, and I can't remember which one it is, but because they're using their own. It's the designbetterpodcast.com, where they have like the written notes. It's like the show notes or the discussion from the podcast is what I sort of went through to find all this. So yeah, that was an interesting one. I thought I'd throw that one in there. Now, one of the headline topic, or one of the topics today, I put it in the title of the stream because I thought it was an interesting question to pose. Before I do that, I'm just gonna have a quick look. Comments about this one. Natural language speaking prompt will look cool on the future of YouTube commercial. However, your watch history will always be the best predictor as to what you like. That is interesting. That is something to reflect on. Blobs is correct. Larry says, I wonder if YouTube thought people were mistaking wrenches for someone that works on the platform. But either case, the blue blob looks terrible. Yeah, like they could have done a little bit more design, give it a little bit more definition. Like I know the wrench was just a plain blue wrench, but it had a shape. It had a unique shape. This doesn't have a unique shape. Like they could have made it look more like a shield, like a little bit more pointy at the bottom. They could put just a little bit of a border of definition around it. We've talked about this the last couple of weeks. We talk about this every week now. All right, let's move. This comes from... Darn, why am I not remembering where this comes from? This is from Variety, I believe. Variety magazine, or Variety Online. It's the evolution of the late night format. So historically, we've got like late night shows. We're talking about late night shows. They're on television. Back in the day, we had Letterman and Johnny Carson back way back, and then these days we've got the Jimmys and the what's his name? The guy that got sacked, but he's still there. Colbert, Stephen Colbert. We've got all those different shows, which is like the traditional late night format. But what we're finding is some of that is starting to show up in places, and has so for a while, including YouTube. YouTube is becoming the new home of the late night format, and obviously a variation, not just strictly the classic late night format interview style, but those interviews are morphing into different things. You can think of a good show like Hot Ones. It's not the usual night show format. So let's go through this. YouTube now consistently ranks as America's most watched streaming service, surpassing Netflix in viewership. In October, viewers watched over 700 million hours of YouTube podcasts on living room devices, a significant increase from 400 million the previous year. So a lot more people watching like video podcasts effectively on TV. So it's more of that style of format. Obviously, podcasts are mostly talking, and if it's a video podcast, It's like people here, they might be sitting at a desk facing each other with microphones like this one, different things, different formats. Sometimes people sitting on couches, different things like that. Creators like Brittany Broski, Amelia, I can't pronounce these words, Dim Oldenburg, I think I got it, and Sean Evans from Hot Ones, of course, are redefining the talk show format with lo-fi and unpredictable content that emphasizes parasocial, I can't say it, parasocial connections over rehearsed talking points. So it's more going with the flow than, even though, shows like Hot Ones have a format, going with the flow sometimes instead of like, hey, we're going to sit here, we're going to rehearse the interview. Like some of the late night shows, they rehearse those interviews. They have them out and they've already, like, they've got talking points and they're going to hit, hey, we're going to talk about this, we're going to talk about this, we're going to talk about this. And that's why they're like really tightly done. And obviously they're pre-recorded and edited and all that whole thing. But these digital late night content are becoming a lot more fluid in terms of format. Mainstream celebrities now view internet-based shows like Hot Ones as Hollywood rite of passage, an essential deposit in the meme economy. So if you know what that means, it's like if you want to be noticed online these days, if you want to sort of keep your celebrityness in the consciousness of people, then you want to show up on the socials in different ways. And so these sort of interview formats on YouTube channels, on TikToks, on different places are becoming the place where celebrities want to be seen because they're getting more views and eyeballs on them than sometimes on some of these traditional shows on television. So what do you think? Do you think that every creator needs to maybe do some sort of talk show or late night show format type thing, or interview, or video podcast or whatever? Or do you think it's only for certain niches or certain types of creators? So I'm interested in your comments on that. So if you're live, you can drop it in the chat, or if you're watching the replay, let me know what you think in terms of content. Is this something that we need to do? Is it something we have to do? Is it something that we want to do? Or is it something that you can take it or leave it as a creator? I'm interested. Let me jump in on, see what we got on that. Okay, we're still talking about the blue blob. Good Mythical Morning and Mythical Kitchen Last Meal are also getting some serious celebs. Yeah. Those very well-known, I want to call them, what do I want to call them? They're like their own, their own media conglomerates, because they've got multiple shows under the one umbrella. We see that. I think Hot Ones was under one of the big production companies that doing like social media, YouTube, whatnot, TikTok. So it's interesting. Yeah, they're pulling celebs. So you'd be surprised that you could get a celebrity. Like I see a guy that has TikToks and YouTube who does a simple, like a geo-guessing game on his show, on his format. It's only for a few minutes, like 3 or 4 minutes. Primarily TikTok and YouTube Shorts or YouTube Wides, depending on length of the video. But he sometimes has famous people asking him to find them, because that's basically the premise of his show. They record a thing saying "find me," and they quickly show their area around them, and then he has to like geo guess them down to their location on the earth where they are. And sometimes he's had Rami Malek, who was like in the Queen movie and whatever. He was in different things. He was in a TV show back in the day. I can't remember what the TV show was called. I never watched it. Had him on, a few other celebrities from time to time. Sometimes they're all also paid integrations. It's like with the celebrity and a paid integration at the same time. Pretty cool. So yeah, celebrities are showing up all sorts of places on all sorts of channels that you wouldn't have expected that they would have the clout or the connections to get said celebrity. And yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. YouTube's opening doors. Shark Scraper says digital podcasts don't have the worry about FCC regulation in the US, which can be trickier YouTube's terms of service. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Absolutely. We know, yeah, there was some, that was only last week with the whole Stephen Colbert thing. Yeah. Because he wanted to interview some politician or something, was running for some position in some place that I don't know. Paying for and producing a weekly show sounds exhausting. LOL. Simple evergreen video sounds doable. Yeah. It's definitely capacity, and definitely, because sometimes some of this stuff leans more on maybe entertainment than education or how to. Aaron says, I'm not doing digital podcasts because of my niche. I'm not too worried about doing them. Yeah, that's fair. Aren't live streams essentially podcasts? They could definitely be, absolutely. Depends. I think all you have to do is make sure that you put it into a podcast playlist on YouTube, and away you go. So yes, there's a lot of merging. Bowls Promo TV. I think I missed you shouting out before. I think you were in earlier and I missed it. Thanks for dropping the mystery gift. Thank you for dropping it again. Beautiful. All right. And I still don't have a jingle for it, but we'll just do this one.
Do or do not.
Oh, that's not the one.
There is no try.
I was supposed to go back one. Oh, I was on the wrong page. There we go. I still haven't come up with a jingle for shortcuts, but hey, Gemini's just put out their new part of the Gemini with the what's it called, Lyra or something, and so you can create like music jingles if you want now. I know there's been tools out there to do that already, but I'm in the Google ecosystem for AI, so I might create a little shortcut jingle, and maybe I'll play it here next week in this segment. What do you reckon? Before we go on to some of the shortcuts, Larry says, "Does your vertical?" No, because of the way I'm doing it through Ecamm, it doesn't merge them. So yeah, that's the downside. I'm still waiting on YouTube to sort that out. So everybody's there. I'm just looking, make sure they're all running well. Let's just close that as well. So yeah, right now, 2 chats that have to be managed separately. I've got 2 live stream windows open. All right. Okay. Oh, I picked some last minute pickups of stuff from YouTube. This is from their test and experiment section. They're testing the conversational AI tools on TVs. Okay, I don't know how this is going to work, so let's find out. We're experimenting with bringing YouTube's conversational AI tool to smart TVs, gaming consoles, and streaming devices. If you're eligible, here's how to access it. While watching a video, select the Ask button to open the AI tool. Select from suggested prompts or use the microphone button to ask questions using your voice. So this is a bit like if you have an Apple TV. I have an Apple TV. Let me just put that in there. And so there's a microphone in the top of the Apple TV. So I can technically do whatever it says on the app, and that will turn that microphone into a vocal prompt. Is assuming how it works, because a lot of smart TVs, set-top boxes have that on their remotes already. If your TV remote has a microphone button, you can also use that button to trigger the conversational AI tool. There we go. And ask questions. For example, you could say, what ingredients are they using in this recipe? Or what's the story behind this song's lyrics? We're starting out with a small group of users and we'll keep everyone up to speed on any future expenses. Obviously, this is it's a viewer feature. But as creators, we should always be interested in knowing what the viewer features are, because at some point we are reviewing YouTube, whether we're doing it on TV or not, it depends. One other thing you can do is learn, well, if they've got these features on TV, how can I best utilize, format my video to utilize those? Is there a play that I can play to utilize this feature? And that's the question I've been asking about the the quizzes on YouTube videos now. It's like, how can we use them in a way that would actually be beneficial to users and, maybe improve engagement. So these are all the things that we need to think about when there's like viewer tools like this out. And it is shortcuts, so we will move on. There was a report, and I think they published it in Tube Filter this week. New report reveals YouTube fuels the strongest pester power among kids. A Precisify report shows. Why do they name these companies this nonsense? YouTube drives the strongest purchasing request among Gen Alpha viewers. I don't know what age group Gen Alpha is, but hey. Data highlights YouTube's dominance, with 80% of 10 to 12-year-olds, obviously around that age, tuning in regularly. Parents say kids frequently request products seen in YouTube ads. So I thought I'd mention that. Not really a creator-related thing, but hey, it's interesting. The power of YouTube, or maybe it's the power of the advertising on YouTube. Who knows? Okay, this is where we're the asking a YouTube type question of the day, and this one is somebody's asking a question on Threads. We're on Threads this time. Sometimes we get questions on Threads, sometimes we get them on X and different places. So this person asked a question. Now, you've probably heard this one before, maybe you haven't. This person asked, just in Threads generally, said, is deleting stuff from your YouTube channel that detrimental to the algorithm? I keep seeing mixed things about that, but having so many different things posted as unlisted just feels disorganized and cluttered. Interesting. And of all people, Renee Ritchie jumps in, the YouTube creator liaison, says, hi, YouTube employee here, just in case they didn't know. Not everybody knows. Deleting videos removes them from your watch history, from the watch history of whomever has seen them. The watch history is part of what determines future recommendations. So you're essentially listening or breaking the connection between your channel and those viewers. If that's what you want, then that's fine. And if it's not, then unlisting is the better option. So yeah. So it reduces that, like, especially if it's recent watch history. If they just watch your video and then you delete that video for whatever reason, obviously if there's a problem with the video, you're going to delete it. But that, and that's the only video that they've seen of you in recent history, then you've basically just removed yourself from their pool of potential people to recommend. So it's one of those things. Renee sends it best, but now it's time to jump back. Let's jump back to the main screen. Let's get back to this one. And let's jump into the chat. Now, if you've got a question for me, I didn't say this at the top of the show. I usually do. If you've got a question for me or want to make a comment and you want to get my attention, put a Q in front of it. The rest of the show is asking questions. So if you have a question, it can be about YouTube, it can be about social media, it can be about how to make videos, it can be about live streaming, it can be about anything in that realm. So let me know. I'm going to jump into the chat. Chantel says, if you want to go to Doug's channel, you can choose here is, okay, that was posted in the shorts feed to say, hey, I've got the horizontal feed if you happen to be watching on a horizontal feed. And let's talk about doing the horizontal and vertical feed. I've been doing it. I think this is like the third or fourth week I've been doing it. Done and dusted once we sort of finish and wrap up the show and we look at the stats. The vertical view count is higher than the horizontal view count, even though it seems to me that we have more people chatting in the horizontal video. So we're getting more concurrent viewers in the horizontal. People are sticking around the horizontal, but I think in the vertical, people are swiping through. In the vertical feed, the vertical live feed, they're swiping through, and that effectively counts as a view if they sort of linger for any amount of time. And I think the threshold on that must be pretty low, way some people swipe. But sometimes you stop on everyone just long enough to figure out what the heck is going on in this stream. You know what I mean? So yes. Let's answer some questions. Do you think Rene Ritchie keeps some of these responses on cut and paste? He gets like the same 10 top questions often. Wouldn't surprise me, to be honest. I would say that's highly possible. Because I think I would. And then I see him on podcasts and stuff. But I think he was recently on, which I haven't listened to yet, the vidIQ podcast with Travis, who happens to be in the mystery gift for today. Travis, shout out to Travis MCP. I've lost doing the shout out and I lose my train of thought. But yeah, Rene, and I see him pop up on vidIQ or on Think Media podcast, different places like that. And sometimes if the similar question gets asked, you know that he's had that question many times and he's rehearsed it. He probably knows it off the top of his head at this point, because the same questions do come up, and you are right. It's the same 10 questions will come up in some sort of format at some point in these sort of interviews. Yeah, Shantas has been there top 2. Yeah, I keep them on. I find templating some responses, if they're common responses, saves you a lot of time as a creator answering comments, especially when they're repetitive, having to type it out from scratch. I do a lot of repetitive responses in my day job, so I sort of know what that's like. And yeah, you have templates for stuff, especially when it's technical information that you don't want to have to keep typing from scratch. But this is all, of course, YouTube knowledge. And I'm sure he has it up here as well. If I chat in the vertical, I worry that I may get a rando making fun of me. Vertical is the Wild West. That is true. That's true. Is Dang's in the house? Davis's all natural gym. That's a question. Vertical live stream counts views if they just swipe, but engage views if they watch 4 seconds or so, just like Shorts feed. I don't know, but I'm assuming that must be something similar to that. I wouldn't disagree with that. I don't know the answer because I don't know how different it is to the Shorts feed. But some people just call it streaming to Shorts. But I don't consider it streaming to Shorts. It's hidden behind the Shorts. Sometimes you have to get to that feed by going through Shorts. Because it's vertical doesn't make it a short, because the live stream is not short. So I don't call them Shorts. I call them vertical live streams. But yeah, I think that they could count it that way because you're swiping is the same mechanism as a short. Certainly, I wouldn't disagree if you made that argument at all. Renee's story in the vidIQ pod is so funny as to how he got the YouTube job. There's a connection with Jimmy, an online gaming player. I haven't listened to it yet, so no spoilers. It's in my queue. Like, I have my podcast on my phone. I like to listen to the podcast, and I know it comes up on their YouTube channel as well, on the podcast channel. But I don't watch the podcast video. Most podcasts I consume are audio because I do it when I'm driving or I'm doing something like hanging out the washing or mowing the lawn or doing that stuff. I listen to podcasts when I'm doing that because it's audio. I don't have to look at a screen. It's just easier. So I have those all queued up and I just plow through them during the week. And so I haven't got up to that one yet. I see it in the queue. It's coming. I just got to get through. I just probably got to get through Think Media or somebody else or a couple others. And then I'll be there. I tagged Rene in an X post about real-time audio dubbing. Yeah, he doesn't. I noticed that he doesn't respond to everything. He's not like Team YouTube in terms of that. I did a question in Threads today, but it was like my today, so it was like probably Friday evening at that point. So last night, I don't know. I don't necessarily expect him to respond. Like, I've DM'd him. He hit one time, like, this isn't that long ago. I think it was like maybe in January or December. We're on Nick's streamer and modding, and Renee types in the chat and says, "Oh, send me a DM." And I must have had asked a question earlier, so I thought it was related to that. So I sent him a DM, and I never got a reply. Yeah, he was the one that asked me to DM. So he's a busy man. I understand. All right, Chantel's out of here. We'll talk to you later. I'm sure we'll maybe see you later on. The taxi's departing. Mum's a Uber, Mum's Taxi is out. So far, 2 years in a row at Vid Summit, I have observed Renee is very fair. His time with creators also. Yes. And he gives a lot of time, especially in person at those events. That's what he's there for, to talk to creators. When you were on Chantel's time last week, you put on your list to teach us the string commands. Yeah, that's going to be like a specific. It's either going to be a dedicated stream, so it won't be in this stream. It'll be at a different slot, or we'll do maybe a video series where I pre-record that. But I'm thinking the live stream play might be the go where people can ask questions, be a bit more interactive, and we can sort of start with the basics and then see where the interest is in terms of the different features. Yeah, string commands. We can go through all that, bringing comments up, like I just did there. Let's put it up. Yeah, I just got to figure out when I want to do that, when I can do that in terms of my time. Like, when can I fit it in? Because if I do this here on Saturdays. This is a new show. It was fun doing the show on Monday. I like that. And at the same time, I don't want to cut in on Chantel's stream when she's streaming. I'm happy to jump in when she's not streaming. And I did consider maybe streaming after she streams, because most Mondays I don't work. I don't work Mondays. Monday's my day off, my extra day off. So in theory, Chantel could stream and then I could stream after her. But I don't want her to I don't want to muscle in on her time slot at whatever time it is. So mods, the mod gift. Yep, that's the one. So yes, it's on the books. It's in here to remember. It's just got to be okay, when am I going to do that? Because it's just a matter of figuring out the game plan, how I want to present it as a live stream. So I'm thinking I'm going to do the live stream because I'm struggling to get regular videos out, and if I'm going to add extra videos on top of that, I'm a bit slow. I still haven't gotten editing on the video that I was talking about last week, which is the one on the quizzes in videos. And I think it's a good video. I just have to put it all together. It's all in pieces. I've got stuff shot. I've got screenshots. I've got different things. I just got to put it together. I recorded the last bits last night. Larry's dropping all the gifts right now. Hey, if we're going to drop gifts, I think we should be maybe thinking about dropping this as well.
It's the last call.
The last call means, we're at the tail end of the show. This is where we like to open up for the last chance sort of questions and comments before we wrap things up. And send people on over to Nick's show coming at you at 9 a.m. Eastern today. I've already set up the redirects. They're good to go. I think he's at regular time. It looked like the regular time. Let me have a look real quick. It's the regular time, 9 a.m. Eastern. There we go. All right. There was some comments here. I'm seeing comments over here on the horizontal stream. Like Shark Scrapper tagged me, and I'm not seeing it over here on Social Stream Ninja. There's something funny's going on there. But Shark Scrapper says, I'll read it. Says, don't muscle in on Chantel's stream, or she'll break out the big hammer for you. Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to do any of that. Nick and brother were fighting last week. Tune in, everyone, for the follow-up. Were they? Are you following my layout? I'm trying to remember now. I'm trying to remember what happened last week. I know there was a big discussion about AI. There was the big discussion about AI in the middle there somewhere last week. I know that. Balls Primo TV says both streams was a different experience. Yeah, I don't know if I'd watch both at the same time. I don't know. I don't know if the audio would be exactly synced because of the way the streams go out separately and get buffered, and it was all over. If real crap, oh yeah, yes. I have brothers. I could tell it. Oh yeah, there was like some disagreement, but there was. I don't think overall they were like anything. But yes. I don't think they get heated on the show, but yeah, I think they can understand that they would come at it. They could have different opinions on things. Just because you're brothers doesn't mean you have to have the same opinion. So, but yes, love it. Yeah. Any questions? My plan this week is to hopefully get through the weekend. Like, it was a crazy day today because this is my end of my day, Saturday. So I've been out all day. I got up earlier than a little bit earlier than I normally do. I had to drive 100 kilometers one way for a birthday function, and then back again. So I was back sort of about 5 o'clock this afternoon, and that sort of like driving sort of takes out of you a bit too. And it's warm. It's summer. We're in the tail end of summer here in Australia. Still quite warm, and it's all happening. Oh, the sync was spot on. Okay, that's rare. Thank you, YouTube, for keeping it in sync. So yeah. Any more questions or comments before we wrap things up today? Send you all on over to Nick and Dee in about 27 minutes from now. I actually thought that the news was quite quiet, so I included a couple of things that I probably may have maybe skipped for more YouTube specific news, but I thought there was some interesting stuff in there, and that would at least give them a mention in the shortcuts, at least, or something like that. So yeah, if you ever see something that you think I might have missed or whatever, just tweet at me or exit me or on Threads or wherever you reach out. Say, hey, you saw this. I know Sal usually watches the replay. So hi to Sal from Cali Plains. He sees stuff in the wild sometimes, particularly because he live streams multiple times a week. He sees stuff pop up and he sends me messages with screenshots and stuff. So I always appreciate when he does that, because then I go, oh, I haven't seen that. This is new. Let me look into this a bit more. He was the first one to show me the shields popping up instead of wrenches, for example. Was a recent one. I just saw the Last Drink Consultant's message. 100 kilometers, that's a trip to the grocery store out here. Yeah, true. No, I understand, because we've got, if you go way out back, and then it's like, 100 Ks is relatively close. Larry asked an interesting question. Your studio always looks professional. Do you think? Hang on, I've got a screen in the way. Do you think the most important thing is lighting, backgrounds, or audio? I'd say audio first, lighting second, and backgrounds third. Like, I can move my camera and you can look like this way, and it look pretty ordinary, because it's just like packing blanket wall and my sit stand desk where I do my unboxing. And I got my iPad that's running this, just sitting over there. I got a light up here and a frame. It's all rough on the floor. I got an empty air fryer box sitting under my desk over here. And this part looks good that you see. I've got it reasonable on this side now, so I can shoot in this direction. But it's like my old school mugs. You've seen my mugs before. I could have my can-do mug. Of course, the Value First mug. My merch, of course. Yes, thanks for focusing. I got a bunch of mugs. Oh, everybody loves the Double Doug Dare mug. Focus. I don't want to focus. I got your classic StreamYard. I've got some other mugs from Creator Mix. And Not a Rock Star from Daniel Batal. I got a bunch of mugs on there. My Back to the Future post frames that I had in my old set, which is actually even back there. So I got the whole bookshelf with some books and some lighting and all stuff. So it does look reasonable over that side as well. If we're going to film there, I'll just sort of adjust the lighting a bit for all that area as well, just to like give some accent, some highlights and things that pop up, which you may see on some of my videos that film where I get a little bit of a wider aspect and may not crop in as much as I do here on the live stream. So yeah, audio definitely. Audio, make sure you've got a good mic. Lighting so people can see you. So even if you've got like a basic wall behind you, if you've got some reasonable lighting and make it look interesting, that'll work. The set is like the icing on the cake. The audio and the lighting is the cake. The set design and light and the sort of accent lighting and everything is the icing. That's like the decoration, if you know what I mean. I think that's the best way to say it. Some interesting news this week. Thanks as always for the roundup. I am in trouble speaking today. Thank you, Ernie. Shark Scrapper in the house. Dang says, I agree. Thank you for doing this every week. Yeah, not a problem. And sometimes it's a bit crazy putting together when you're out all day. But this is the slot where if there's something that needs to be said, something that needs to be communicated, then I'm going to try and be here as many weeks in the year as possible to do it and get it out there and recap things. And sometimes there's all sorts of things going on. And we need to really talk about it. And sometimes there'll be stuff we just need to discuss instead of just communicate. So, if we get the opportunity to do that as well, that's always good. All right. I think we're going to wrap things up. No more questions are coming in. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove that. I'm also going to remove all those. Let's see if I can remember how all my end stuff ends. I want to thank everyone for joining me today. I'll see you guys over on Nick and D stream in about 22 minutes from now, 9 a.m. Eastern, over on the Nick Neiman channel. You'll be automatically redirected because I've set up the redirects. So you'll end up in the chat once we end here, the pre-show chat. You can shoot the breeze with people there, or you can wander off, make a drink, have breakfast, whatever it is that you want to do. You can do that as we're waiting for Nick and D to go live. And I'll be back, of course, this time next week. We'll catch up with, I'm sure, I didn't check with Chantel, but I would expect her, because she's back from a holiday, she'll be streaming on Monday or Sunday, depending on where you are. Here it's a Monday, it's Sunday, of course. And whether I do anything after that, I do not know. I have videos to edit. Don't know when I ever get to the editing part, but I will. So yeah, have a great week, everyone, and I will see you over. And a big shout out to Fish Camp TV, who's coming in saying, what up, guys? Just as we're wrapping things up, we're sending you all on over to Niman Live, over on Nick Niman's channel. So if you join me there, I'll see you. Dave Mantley's here in the house as well, coming in last minute. Yeah, we're heading on over to the Nick and D stream. So I appreciate you all. If you come in late, make sure you jump on the replay later. It's always good to get caught up on the news stories of the week. So in the meantime, I'll catch you later.